I think it's time. I think we tell the story. That's good, but can we raise this a little bit? Yeah. All right. We tell the story, the infamous story. Wait. Oh, my overlay is still on. Okay, so everything should be fine. Ooh, what kind of story do we do though? Wait, do we do the most recent one? All right, guys. Do I tell the story on how a witch started contacting me from my crazy ex? I think a small little intermission story while we wait for Tricky Towers is a I think it could be fun. How a witch started contacting me because of my crazy ex. Not clickbait. Not clickbait. Ooh, Um, that should be fine. All right, I'll tell the story. God, wait, how do I even tell the story? All right, well, let's see. Long, long ago. No, that's not how you start a story, right? Nah. Guys, this is 100% true. This is 100% true. So, um, let's give a bit of backstory. Let's give a bit of backstory, right? So, about like, what was it, 3 years ago, right? I got my first girlfriend, and we worked together, and we hung out a bunch, and then all the other dating stuff and all that other stuff. We'll skip over that part because this isn't what we're coming to talk about. We're talking about how a crazy witch started texting me because of my ex. So, I ended things probably before this happened, probably like, let's see, when she started texting me. She started texting me like Mother's Day, so probably ended things like October of last year, maybe a little bit earlier. Pardon me. Ooh. And yeah, things were over. Um, and I thought, I can move on with my life. Everything could be nice and, be moving on. But little did I know, on one fateful day, a witch would be contacting me. I believe it was like, it had to be like in the. Oh, did I hear a smoke alarm? No. I may have sniffled. Wait, this is the second time you said that. There's no smoke alarm even like remotely close to me. Regardless though, uh, this had to be like, it was one day, right? I just got out of the shower and I'm chilling. Never mind, it's Jamie. And I'm just chilling. And I'm not thinking much of anything. I'm just like chilling out. Just got out of the shower. It's nice and like cool in my room. And then I got a text. Let me pull up receipts so I can be pretty accurate. Where's that? Where's that? Where's that? Where's that? Where's that? I had to block her too. I blocked all three of them because she has two separate numbers. And I also blocked my ex. These are the first three people I've ever blocked. All right, let's lock in. Let's lock in. Luckily, it's one scroll, so nothing has to load. All right, April 27th at 11 a.m. They said, "Hello, Dion." And I was like, wait, that's me. What's this person doing texting my phone? I don't know who this is. But I also thought, oh, maybe someone's asking to come in to work for me. Or maybe someone's asking me to come in to work for them. So I was like, oh, well, okay. Yo, what's going on? That's why I said. And then they said, we're trying to contact insert X name over over missing payments. And I'm like, missing payments, you say? What does this mean? what could this even possibly mean? Um, so I guess my ex, what's the best word? Hired a witch for some certain stuff. I never knew what the stuff was. I just know that she was hired for some stuff. I knew she talked to her, but that's about it. That's about it. I didn't really ask too many questions, but I try to be supportive as possible during that specific period in time. And I was like, "Who is this? How do you have my number?" Because I was so bewildered. I was like, "Bro, what? I haven't talked to this girl in like forever. I haven't talked to this girl in a couple of months." Oh, all right, that's fine. Wait, hold on. Okay, no, that's fine. I was like, "Yeah, I haven't talked to this girl in a couple of months. What the heck do you mean? Do or if I'm in contact with her, I thought I would never have to think about her again." And then here I was thinking about it again. Well, I have to scroll back up. All right, and after that, she introduced herself. She was like, "Oh yeah, a while back, I do all this witchcraft and stuff." And I was like, I basically told her I couldn't help her because we don't talk anymore. And she said, "Oh well, yeah, thanks for letting me know. Appreciate it. If you could notify her about this." But like, pardon me. I'm not really talking to her at this point. So I'm like, "Oh yeah, there's not really anything I could do. So like, you probably should take it to her." And it was like, "Oh yeah, no worries." Basically, this whole thing's pretty cordial. I'm just like, "Oh yeah, can't really do anything." And she was like, "Oh yeah, I'm sorry for bothering you." I'm like, "Oh, it's all good. It's all good." Wicked Witch of the Wilds, not for real, man. Um, yeah. So all this other stuff, we're just like, I'm basically saying, "Yeah, I don't know anything," and then she was like, starts to get a little weird. Um, and she said, "I need her email address or her mother's contact information for my lawyer." And she said she already had her home address. I was like, at this point, I'm like, "Dang, bro, this random has her home address." So, being the good person I am, that I consider myself, I unfortunately had to text her. I had to text my ex. And I text her, I was like, "Oh, you know, this lady has your phone number. I mean, this lady has your home address. You might want to take care of that, gang." And then that's what I said. And she wanted to see all their messages, so I just sent them. And at this point, I'm like, "Dang, bruh, this is really cooked." So then, after that, she asked if she could call me. I said, "No, I want this lady to leave me alone." But at this point, I've never blocked anyone in my life. At this point, no one has ever been blocked. One second. At this point, no one's ever been blocked. Um, so then I was like, "All right, well, I don't really want to talk to you. Like, this has nothing to do with me. I'm just trying to live my best life, pretty much." And then she started asking like why we stopped talking. I was like, I just said no. And then she said, "Why do I feel like you two are trying to do this intentionally? You know I have what it takes to ruin things for the both of you, right? I'm a effing witch, and you choose to mess with me, with everyone else." I'm assuming she was trying to say like you chose to mess with me instead of anyone else. And I'm like, "Dog, what?" And she said, "This is so annoying." I said, "I don't talk to her. And she's a complete stranger to me." Um, and I just said, "I'm living my life. She's living hers. Go talk to her." And then she's saying she's trying to get all this for her lawyer. And I said, "Well, if you had a lawyer, they should be able to get an investigator to do like this work. That's what an investigator is for. And I think she said, I think she thought I said she was just a stranger in general. And she was like, I'm not a stranger to her. Which I'm like, okay, fair. Um, and I just clarified, I'm like, no, you're a stranger to me. Therefore, ask her what happened, not me. And she said, I'll use my ways to sort it out. Y'all hear from me. Um, I'm basically like, yo, we're not like a thing anymore. You're dragging me into this, into this stuff, and I really don't got anything to do with it. Nor can I do anything like for you. And then she said, I'm not gonna leave you out of this. I keep saying I have what or sorry, holy crap, I'm tired. She said, I keep saying I have all it takes to ruin y'all. There's also a lot of typos in here. So I don't know if you know um basically she's just saying she feels cheated and antagonized. I'm just like, there's literally nothing I could do. Oh, my headset died. I'm like, there's literally nothing I could do, like, sorry. You got finangled. But oh, okay, sick. Like,
Charging battery.
yeah, there's nothing I could do pretty much. I was like, oh, so I wrote out this entire long twit longer. So I'm like, yeah, I can't really do anything. And she said, are you sure you're not talking to her anymore? I said, yes. And she said, I have a lawyer working already, all this other stuff. Uh, she's doing this intentionally. And she said she put a curse on me because I didn't text her back. That will take effect in 3 days, mind you. Mind you. This is August 10th still? No, sorry, it's May 6th. Because I did not text her back. So from August 10th to May 6th, she texted me back. And she said, oh, when she talked about the spell, I said, you clearly have a predetermined notion that I can't change your mind. I don't know what else to tell you. As she said, I'm not continuing anything. I'm only going to advise you to do something to reverse the curse. I sent her a meme, and okay, hold on. Let me see if I could load it real quick. Okay, I sent her this right here. Let me cover the number. Um, yeah. No, numbers covered. On. Oh, it's so bright. On. Okay, hold on. I think you can just hold from the top. Okay, it is not gonna show. It's too bright. Basically, it's just the bro meme. And I said, okay, I'll bite. And she said, you'll see when it happens. No. I said, okay, I'll bite. What is the spell for? And she said, you'll see when it happens. All of this is effing annoying me. And I'm just like, how do you think it is for me? So now I'm like, basically I'm leaning into it. Because, like, this is a really long conversation. And now I'm entertained. I'm literally, like, sitting on my bed. Just like... just like messaging this lady. And I said I'm never messing with a crazy girl again, man. This is pretty cooked. Because it is super cooked. And she said, I don't think I have anything else to say to you. You need to get that reversed. Okay? After it gets activated, then I don't know anymore. Y'all are just annoying. Dang. This is why I hate reacting whenever I'm mad. Well, she used other words, but no one F's with me and gets away with it. And I'm just like, bruh, this feels like the plot of an anime. This literally feels like the plot of an anime. I was like, dog, come on, bro. Why does this have to be my arc? And I ask, how am I supposed to reverse it if I don't know what's supposed to happen? And I respond to one of her things. I said, yes, considering again, I did nothing to deserve this. And she said, you'll definitely feel it when it happens. If you want to wait and see, no problem. It'll cost you 200 to get it reversed. And once I'm done here, I'll tell you to do something that will completely free you from this. So at this point, I already knew it was going to happen. So she said she placed a curse on me. She said she placed a curse on me and to pay money, bro. She tried to get me in the same trap my ex was in. So then I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. So now I'm really playing into it. So I'm like, oh yeah, I just can't afford that. My parents can't afford that. I'm just struggling right now, all this other stuff. She said, how much do you have to spare? I can't do the spell. Okay, this is what really took me. She said, I can't do a spell on you and still be responsible to pay for the reversal. Who asked you to do the spell? You did that yourself. No one else did that. It was you. What do you mean I can't be bothered to pay for the reversal? It was you! You did it! For no reason! If it was real, of course. But, I'm always keeping the possibility that it was real, and maybe she's just not that strong. But, I'm never gonna knock on that, because, there's some crazy stuff that could happen. Um, and then she said, if I find out you have anything to do with her, you'll dance to the tune, which I'm assuming means I'll die. Which I don't have anything to do with her, because we're over. But, after that, I'm like, yeah, I really just don't have the money to spare. Oh, I have to sneeze again. Holy crap, man. Pardon me. So after this, I'm like, yeah, I don't really have the money to spare, unfortunately. I can't really, I'm so sorry, I can't really do that. Is there any other way you could help? I'm really playing into it now. And she's like, there's no way I can reverse it without getting what I need for it. If you had replied, I'm sure it wouldn't have turned out like this. So basically, she's blaming me when she's like two freaking loops from a Fruit Loop box or like a Looney Loop box. I don't know. I don't know. And she said, get the money for it. I'm like, yeah, it's really not that easy for me to get money, as I mentioned, all this other stuff, yada, yada, yada. And she said, there's no way I could do this with nothing. Please, I don't want to be more annoyed. And then I told her, I'll leave her alone then, because there's nothing more I can do. I'm sorry. And then she said, I really do not, I really do not want to get this off you. Okay, yeah. She said, I really don't want to get this off you, but I truly believe you have nothing to do with her. I'm like, yeah, that's because I don't, and I'm sorry for irritating you. And she said, if there's nothing you can do, I've got nothing to do also. Did you even try to text her? I said, no, I don't want to talk to her. And she said, basically, she's just ranting at this point. She's like, my clients don't believe me anymore because she didn't pay me back my money and all this other stuff. And she said, I promise you, I'll ruin the life of everyone she knows. Her roommate, her mom, her dad. I promise you. Why would you do that to someone you trusted? I'll do this legally and outside the box. I'll make sure she doesn't try this anymore. I'm like, you know what? You know what, dog? That's 100% fine. Just leave me out of it. And then she said, who do you know with her? I'm like, that's pretty much it. I didn't even know she had a roommate. And she was like, she moved in this month. Who do you know with her? I said, besides your parents, no one. And she said, I need every contact. I'm like, I don't got any contacts. Of course I do have contacts, but this lady's so crazy, bro. I'm not gonna give a crazy lady like someone's personal information. I wouldn't give anyone someone's personal information, let alone this crazy lady. Um, and then I was like, yeah, I don't have any of their contacts now. She probably doesn't believe it, but Apparently, my ex told her everything about her life. Yeah, Pan. I saw your message. We're gonna be like, this story is like, we're basically almost over. Like, I don't, well, you're not gonna be able to see it because it's too bright, but we're basically almost over. Um, so I'll be right there. Um, and then she was like, yeah, I was like, because I'm not gonna give a random person someone's information. I don't care how much we're apart. That's just not something I would do. So I'm like, yeah, I just don't have it anymore. I got rid of it once we, separated. And then she was like, she basically tried like leveraging me to text her, and she's like, well, I think you need to text her then and see if she's gonna respond to you. I was like, yeah, no, I'm just not gonna do that. And she said, she called me by my name. She's like, Dion. Oh, I told her she blocked me on everything, which isn't true. But after this, I did block her on everything because this is crazy. Um, she's like, you don't have to lie to me, right? I'm like, I'm not lying. She's blocked. And then she goes back to saying, okay, go get something out of the 200 then, and I can think of what's next to help you. I'm like, bro, what? I said, I really can't help you. I wish I could. I'm sorry, I really am. And I'm basically saying, like, bro, there's nothing I could do. Womp womp. And she's like, I understand. When are you going to have it? Let me see if there's something I could do. So basically, she's trying to put me on payment plan, which is exactly what she did to my ex. Um, I'm like, oh yeah, I don't work at all. I only get money for Christmas, but like even that's kind of tough. My parents were really struggling. Yada yada yada. And then she said, "There's nothing I can do. Y'all annoyed me, and that's it." I said, "No, please. I am so sorry." At this point, right, mind you, this is 2 p.m. in the afternoon. This is on Mother's Day. I am out with my mom and dad at um hot pot and Korean barbecue. I took them there to try it for the first time, and I'm getting these messages, bro, and I'm giggling in the other seat, and my parents are like, "What are you laughing at?" I'm like, "Oh, it's nothing, it's nothing." This is what's going on while I'm eating. We were doing hot pot and Korean barbecue because they wanted to try both, so we're eating Korean barbecue and hot pot. But I'm laughing at this, bro. It's literally dinner and a show. It's literally, bro. I wish I could share you the messages, but one, the camera, and two, just privacy for someone's number. Because even this crazy lady, I wouldn't give her number out. um Hold on, let me scroll back to where it is. And then she's like, there's nothing I can do with no money. Mind you, she did the spell on me for no money, but she can't do the reversal for no money. It's crazy. um and she was like, you know how hard it's been. I swear every person I know or that knows her will have a taste of this, I promise you. I'm like, okay, well that's cool. Leave me out of it, please. And then I didn't respond for 2 hours because again I was out eating with my parents. And then she asked 2 hours later, almost 3 hours later. She's like, "Can you get 100?" I said, "I can't. I'm sorry." And she said, "Text her and send me a screenshot." I said, "I'm not texting her. I'm sorry." And she said, "I know you're lying. You are the same thing." I said, "No, I just don't want to talk to her." And then I think she sent me screenshots of her trying to text her. I'm like, that's 100% good that is her. That's 100% good that's her. Yeah, basically because she wasn't responding. And she said, "I don't know how I'm going to save you from this, the stuff that she put you in." And she was basically texting her, guilt tripping her, saying like, "I regret everything," and all this other stuff. Um, and I blocked her. I blocked her on Mother's Day. No, yeah, May 6th. So it's a little bit before Mother's Day because I think my mom went out of town. That's why. So this is May 6th at 6:05 p.m. Now, I thought this was over. Nothing happened. Guys, as you guys can see, the 3-day curse, the 3-day binding vow curse did not work. the light Yagami Death Note 3 days death did not work. So you're like, oh, why are you talking about it then? Everything's good, right? Well, then this happened recently. This is just a couple of days ago. This was 7/7, so a week ago. Oh, well, 10 days ago. So a little bit over a week, almost 2 weeks. Um, a little bit more context. After I get all this information, because she also sent a picture of me. I'm like, why does she have a picture of me? I was like, dog, did you give her any other of my information, bro? Be for real, for real. And she was like, no, I wouldn't do that. I'm like, bro, she has a picture of me. What the heck? Um, but basically, the witch texts me again from a different number because I blocked her other number. She said, I know where you stay. If she doesn't get in contact with me soon, I'm tracking the people who know her next. And I hit her with the nah, and then I blocked her again. Hold on. I do want to show this one. Alright, hold on. Oh, wait, did it? Oh, yeah, it went back. Bro, I really do wish I had something. Oh, hold on. Yeah. Okay, can you see that? Not really. Yeah, you can't really see it. But yeah, basically she said that I said nah. Guys, this is a story, right? Well, this actually happened to me, but just take it from me. Take it from your friendly neighborhood um Twitch streamer. Um Guys, if you smell crazy in the water, don't jump in. Don't jump in, man. It's gonna be like the Red Sea. You're gonna go sinking to the bottom. And you'll be there and you'll be thinking, dang, man, it's all my fault. But really, man, then contract to hunt you? Nah, for real, bruh. Nah, for real. But at the end of the day, guys, yeah, even when you leave crazy, crazy still finds a way to find you. So guys, don't mess with anyone crazy. If you think you can fix them, maybe sometimes you can. In my case, I could not. I could not. And I really did do the best I could. And it ended with a witch having a binding vow to hunt me down when I have nothing to do with anything. But yeah, guys, that's about it. Probably gonna be a YouTube video. And yeah, guys, don't mess with crazy.